Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Om Shri Radhe Govinda Bhagwan Ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
So we'll be beginning with Canto 2, Chapter 9, verse 33. Yep. And because Gajendraji, this is difficult subject matter, we should go paragraph by paragraph, stop, discuss, and then move on, because otherwise it gets a little too much detail.
Sure. Okay. So we get started.
This is the first one of the four.
Yeah.
This is the first one of the four seminal verses.
Okay.
All right.
Ahamiva sameva gre nanyade yat sat sat param panchadaham yadetache yo avishishyeta so ahashyamyaham. Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation when there was nothing but myself. Nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead, and after annihilation what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead.
Okay. We should note very carefully that the personality of Godhead is addressing Lord Brahma and specifying with great emphasis himself, pointing out that it is he, the personality of Godhead, who existed before the creation. It is he only who maintains the creation, and it is he only who remains after the annihilation of the creation. Brahma is also a creation of the Supreme Lord. The impersonalist puts forth the theory of oneness in the sense that Brahma, also being the same principle of I, because he is an emanation from the I, the absolute truth, is identical with the Lord, the principle of I, and that there is thus nothing more than the principle of I as explained in this verse. Accepting the argument of the impersonalist, it is to be admitted that the Lord is the creator, I, and that Brahma is the created I. Therefore, there is a difference between the two I's, namely the predominator I and the predominated I. Therefore, there are still two I's, even accepting the argument of the impersonalist. But we must note carefully that these two I's are accepted in the Vedic literature, Kathopanishad, in the sense of quality. The Kathopanishad says, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vivedati Kaman. Maybe we should stop there and see if there's any questions about the two types of I.
Well, this is Krishna speaking to Brahma, right? And he's defining who he is, who Krishna is, by his own words.
The
See if they have any comments.
Yeah. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the foremost commentary on the personal Vedantist philosophy. In other words, Srimad Bhagavatam proves that God and the living entity are separate. They are both eternal, they're both conscious, but they're separate. That's what this verse in the Katha Upanishad says, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam, that of the eternal, Krishna is the source, and of the sentient, he is the source. So that the impersonalist wants to say that the I, me, and God, I, somehow we're the same I, but here Prabhupada is writing to say that there's both I, but one is the source and the other is the product. One is the predominator and the other is the predominated. However, they're the same in one sense. Who can tell me in what sense they're both the same? Maybe two senses if we want to. I just kind of hinted at it. How are
Both
they
are sentient. Both are sentient.
Yes.
Both are sentient, yes. And both are eternal.
Then
But one of them is the source and the other one is the created. But not actually created. That's actually an improper way of looking at it. We're not actually created. We exist eternally along with, as part and parcel of Krishna. There wasn't a time when we did not exist, nor you or any of the kings on this battlefield, Krishna says to Arjuna. So we always existed.
One is like the ocean, the other one is like the drop. In other words, the quality of being a spiritual beings is there, because that is what defines us as spiritual beings. But one is the source, and the other one is just a drop.
So
But we have-
Prabhuji,
Yes.
what is in the annihilation, the dormant state? What is the nature of the soul in the dormant state? It is still there,
Yes.
but it is sort of in a, well, that state is dormant, but what exactly does that mean?
Well, it means that between creations, you know, the universe lasts for 311 trillion years, and that's one breath of the Mahavishnu. He breathes out, and then he breathes in, and during that period of exhalation and then inhalation, the whole thing happens, the whole life of Brahma. Now, the living entities, the souls which have not yet reached perfection, and they're still in the material world, at that time they're what's called conserved within the body of the Lord to be re-emanated again in his next breath.
With a human body, with a material
With
body.
a material body,
With
of
a
course.
material body.
Yeah, it's material. Again, it's understood that these are the souls who have not been able to perfect themselves, so they're going to take birth again within the material world. So it doesn't say in the scriptures how long it is between his breaths, but it's a long time. Maybe another several
So there are
trillion.
no activities even in the sort of ethereal or spiritual sky during that time for the soul.
We're not there. We're not in the spiritual sky. If between the creations, if we haven't made ourselves, if we're not perfectly Krishna conscious or have become transcendent to the material world, we hibernate within the body of Lord Vishnu. You know, he glances and injects the living entities into the next creation, and we're the part of that glance, Sadashiv, the glance of Shiva, which then unites with Parvati, and then all the living entities get bodies from there, and then Brahma is part of that, and I mean that's what happens. It's a state of suspended animation, you might say. So it's a long time.
It's like deep sleep.
Deep sleep.
It's like deep sleep. There is no awareness, no self-awareness.
So there is no karmic reactions or karma being
nothing
expended.
happening.
Nothing. Yes.
No comprende. We're just we're kind of like in the freezer.
But the previous karmas are still there.
Yes, previous, absolutely. That's a good point. That yes, when we pick up and when we get thawed out, we pick up where we left off.
Absolutely.
If we were a piece of tofu, we may be another piece of tofu.
But there's no addition or subtraction. It's just static, the karmic.
Static, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's stated by some of the acharyas that the primary reason why the Lord appears in the material world and exhibits his pastimes is that he wants to attract those souls who didn't quite make it in the past creation, and when they're coming back, they're like advanced in consciousness, and therefore he wants to make sure that they get association with him and his pure devotees, so that they can finish it up in this next creation.
To accelerate the process for them to go back, to go to the spiritual world.
And then the realized souls, though in that dormant state, they are still exhibiting all the leelas in the Golok. Is that?
And those who are in Goloka Vrindavan, they're never annihilated. Never.
So they are still doing their pastime.
That exists.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that exists eternally. And if one enters into a state of spiritual perfection, that is in Vaikuntha or in Goloka Vrindavan, when this material world is annihilated, it doesn't touch them.
Okay.
It doesn't touch them. It's like that's what it really means to be transcendental. You've transcended the whole material world.
They're not part of the material world, so they're not affected.
You're out of the equation.
They're not affected at all.
So that's the challenge now. Here we are in our human form of life. We've got some form of consciousness, some sort of understanding. And if we can understand that we can use this life now to raise our consciousness so that in this next life, we may become perfect, we maybe not, but at least we'll make advancement towards perfection, so that when it's described now that Brahma is like 50 years old by his time, which means we're halfway through this universe. We don't want to stick around for another 150 trillion years, but we certainly would like to make sure that at the end of the 150 trillion years, we've either transcended before then or transcended at that time, so we don't have to go into another deep freeze between creations.
Yeah. So the spiritual sky is beyond this universe, right? It's
Absolutely, yes.
The highest is the Brahmalok. So Lord Brahma is also part of this universe. But
he's part of he's the top of this material universe. And it's said that our Brahma, because this Brahma is a pure devotee, he'll actually at the end of his life, when this universe is finished, he'll go to the Supreme Lord's abode. And anybody on his planet will go to the Supreme Lord's abode. But anybody who's not perfect, they stay in the material world. So that's a really good question. That's a really good question, because we hear a lot about what it means to become perfect, and many people have uninformed opinions. They don't really know what that actual state of being is. Anything else?
So, Prabhuji, one question from a timing perspective. So we know that the universe time is 311 trillion years. But we also have yugas, right? We have Kali Yuga, we have
Yeah, they
Satyug, we have
happen over and
Dwapar, we
over
have
again.
Treta. So how is that calculated? So when the yugas change, don't we have pralay? And what is
Yeah,
that?
those are partial. Those are
Yes.
partial annihilations.
Yeah.
So that they don't include the upper planetary systems like the demigods and Lord Brahma. They're not touched. The relative smaller pralayas, which occur after the end of the yuga cycles, they only affect the lower parts of the universe, which is from the middle planetary systems downward. At those times,
We are in the middle.
we don't.
We are in the middle.
They're not. Those living entities are not then reabsorbed into the body of Mahavishnu at that time. They're just simply their bodies are destroyed, and then a new at the end of the cycle, a new cycle happens, and new bodies are created by Brahma. Those happen every time Brahma goes to sleep, and this is really frustrating for Brahma. Brahma is up, he does his business. When he goes to bed, however that is, and wakes up the next morning, someone's come and trashed everything, and he has to recreate everything in the lower half of the universe. So it all gets destroyed between his days. The day there, everything. You read the Bhagavad Gita, it says again and again the day comes and is
I
lost,
create again
and again and again. So it happens over and over again. Those are relative small destructions within the universe. What Parag was talking about is the destruction of the entire universe, which only happens at the end of the life of Brahma. But there are little destructions every day. Brahma, every time Brahma wakes up for another day, he has to recreate part of the universe. So that's a lot of days.
But how long is the day? How long is
The days are 8 billion. One day, a day is 4,300,000,000 years long, and a night is 4,300,000,000 years. So a day-night cycle is 8,600,000,000 years, which is the scientists have calculated roughly, according to their calculations, that the universe is 15 billion years old. Well, that's about 2 Brahma days. So maybe they've looked back a couple days of Brahma and seen something happen. I don't know. Maybe they picked up something, but that's
just 2 days.
That's just 2 days of Brahma.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think the scientists pick up all these numbers from the spiritual science, and they try to validate and authenticate, or just come out with some theory.
Yeah, they
like we have 8.4 million species of birth and death, right? So of the different species, and they have the same number, 8.4 million.
They come up with a lot of the same numbers, but they don't know where it comes from, and they don't admit who. It's
they hear from the Vedas. They
Right.
hear from the Vedas, so they have some awareness.
And they're bright, and sometimes they come up with ideas like evolution, which can't be denied. In one sense, things do evolve; they change. But they're trying to say that things change with no direction and no brain in charge. And, we all know what happens when you have things change with no brain. Just don't mow your lawn for a while and see what happens. It just becomes dirty and disorganized, and, things don't get better when there is nobody in control. But they're trying to say that everything gets better somehow or other when things change without a controller. It doesn't make sense.
It's ultimately a denial of the presence of the Supreme, who is the one running the whole show.
They don't want to admit that.
They don't want to admit that there is a cause, which is the primeval cause from which everything else manifests. They can go back from one cause to the effect, to the cause, to the effect, to the cause, and stop just before they get to the Supreme.
Even I've heard that, many people will give this argument that this I, right? Like I, and then I gets merged with the I, the God. And the example will be like, like when the water drop gets merged in the ocean, everybody is part of the ocean.
Yes.
But I think they don't talk about the fact that ocean is already there. That's how you can go and merge into that.
And they don't talk about the variety of life in the ocean either. It's
Right.
not just a blob.
Yeah,
It's a whole world variety and activity.
yeah.
You know, Prabhupada gave the example. He said that if you would like to merge into the ocean like a drop and simply lose your identity, you can do that. However, the devotee wants to be like the shark or the great aquatics and dive deep into the ocean and experience the ocean and have a variegated experience in the ocean, not just simply lose oneself as some sort of non-differentiated drop. Before I became a devotee, I belonged to a spiritual group. They used to sing a song, I'm a drop, you're the sea, make me the sea, make me the sea. And I thought that was really good. But, you know, it was really a sentimental, ridiculous song. I started thinking, I'm a drip and you are the sea. But that's the idea. I'm a drop and you're the sea. Oh, I want to be the sea. Well, that's really envy. We can't become God.
But then the point is they're also requesting to someone like make me the sea.
Yeah, they are. And so this group, which said this, which wanted to become one with the sea, was praying to the one. It's like praying to yourself.
Actually, in this philosophy of impersonalism, there is a lot of error.
Yeah.
A great deal of philosophical error. Things that are not at all congruent and totally illogical also.
Anyway, this kind of thinking in America was during the late 60s, early 70s. Everybody would like to sit around a campfire and sing songs about how we're all going to be together in some kind of, you know, blob. Real life. Anyway, you know, we were lucky. We were saved by Prabhupada. Let's do the next paragraph. The Creator.
Okay, the Creator I. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention that this text that Gajendra Prabhu is showing on the screen, you can easily access it, very easily. You just go to vedabase.net and all the books are there. And that's where Gajendra is getting it. So if after the session you want to go over some material, it's there. And also any reference that is made, not all of them, but many of the references being made in the paragraphs that are in red, if you click on them, they take you to the original text, which could be a Purana, it could be an Upanishad, it could be the Bhagavad Gita, it could be the Vedanta Sutra, it could be any other source. So it's a very valuable asset to have this opportunity to access all the books that Srila Prabhupada translated and commented on. It's easily available. You don't have to pay a penny. Just go vedabase.net and then you access all this information.
Yes, and since it's New Year, I also request everyone, like, since we are using vedabase.com, you know, regularly, I think we should try to do some donation. There is a donation button when you go to vedabase.com. There is a donation button. I think we should do that because, you know, that's what is facilitating us to, you know, be able to come together and read.
Yeah.
That's for an island.
All right, that's a very noble attitude.
Yeah, everybody can pitch in a couple bucks. It helps.
To be able to actually give a donation to enlighten people. See, these books are written to enlighten people and save people from suffering by having this transcendental knowledge being given. So it is a noble activity to give a little something. All right, so the Creator I and the created I are both accepted in the Vedas as qualitatively one, because both of them are nityas, eternal, and chetanas, sentient. In other words, qualitative one means that they are spirits, pure spirit. But the singular I is the Creator I, and the created I's are of plural number because there are many eyes like Brahma and those generated by Brahma. It is the simple truth. The father creates or begets a son, and the son also creates many other sons, and all of them may be one as human beings, but at the same time, from the father, the son, and the grandson are all different.
Mukesh?
The son cannot take the place of the father, nor can the grandsons. Simultaneously, the father, the son, and the grandson are the one and different also. As human beings, they are one, but as relatives, they are different. Therefore, the relatives of the creator and the
Relativities.
Not relatives, relativity.
Relativities.
Oh, sorry. What as relativities, they are different. Therefore, the relativities of the creator and the created, or the predominator and the predominated, have been differentiated in the Vedas by saying that the predominator eye is the feeder of the predominated eyes. And thus, there is a vast difference between the two principles of eye.
Okay. Any thoughts or questions about this so far?
Comments, questions?
Prabhupada gives very
Can you help understand this?
Yes.
Yes. What's the question?
What just the overall
It's
question?
somehow, yeah. So the difference between the two, I get it out here, but really I'm at the grasp here. I feel that I didn't understand this paragraph.
Well, in this paragraph, the Prabhupada is giving an example here where he talks about there's an original creator. And this creator, from this creator, so many different creations come, and they have qualities very similar to the original creator. In other words, and he gives the example of a father who has a son. Now, the father and son have great similarity at one level, but the father is definitely the progenitor of the son, therefore has innately a superior position. The son can have sons also, which also have a certain number of relative qualities the same as him. So therefore you have father, son, grandsons, all of whom are men, all of whom have qualities that look similar. But there's a hierarchy. The father is always the father or grandfather. The son is always the son and father of the grandsons. They have their positions so that one is the source. And ultimately, when we speak about the ultimate source, God, he is, the prime being, the first Ishvara Parama Krishna. He is the first, the Parama controller. So he himself has qualities of life. He's Satchidananda. He's eternal knowledge, full of knowledge and bliss. But we should understand that he also has, he's a source of everything, but he's also a person. He has likes, dislikes, feelings, emotions. And we also have likes and feelings and emotions, but we're subordinate. Even though we have some similarity in that way to God, we're never on the equal platform with him. He is the source of all emotions, all feelings, all sentience, and we can just have reflections of that. You want to say something?
Yeah, well, to put it succinctly, we'll say that there is a creator, and there's one, and the created are many.
Yeah.
And that's what's being explained here too, that the I, the creator's I, and the creator are so many. But there's only one source, and that source is Krishna.
In perfection, in the spiritual world, there are many, many souls, and they have this very similar qualities to God, but they're in small portion.
Minute quantity, yeah.
In this world, we're all covered over. We're covered over by material bodies and by material minds and by false ego. and therefore we don't really fully realize our true qualities. We get covered over and we think, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm old, I'm young, I'm American, I'm Russian, Jewish, Hindu. These are all illusory temporary designations. But if we raise our consciousness to a high level of Krishna consciousness, then we have clear understanding of our eternal relationship with Krishna. And even though we then can see that, oh, Krishna's eternal, I'm eternal, Krishna's full of bliss, I'm full of bliss, Krishna's full of knowledge, I'm full of knowledge, I'm only Satchidananda, eternal, knowledgeable, and blissful, because Krishna has given me that. I'm not the same as Krishna.
One is infinite.
Hare Krishna.
One is infinite, which is the creator, which is God, Krishna. And the other ones are infinitesimal.
Yeah.
Infinite and infinitesimal.
We're like sparks. Thank you. That's a very good question. Guess we can do another paragraph.
Yeah. Krishna Prabhuji, actually, yeah,
Yes.
I'm thinking that we have 15 more minutes.
Yes.
And it's like New Year, we can see 15 minutes of Mayapur Aarti and nursing prayer.
Okay.
Yes.
That's nice.
We can continue with the next paragraph next week.
Surely.
Surely. You know, this is something that once we discuss it and read it out loud, it becomes clear. And it becomes more clear when we actually access the text, get the text and read it at home quietly and peacefully. I say, oh yeah, of course it makes complete sense. Everything that was discussed, oh yeah, it's very clear. So that's why it's good to have this as a reference that we can go to between week and week to look at and to say, oh yeah, of course, it's obvious.
But that's very, very nice that we can have discussion. They're really good questions.
Thank you for your questions.
And thank you, Gajendra, for posting these nice articles.
Yeah, so that's really good. So
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
We'll see you on the other side of this.
We'll be watching for 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good.
For 15 minutes, they will cover nursing prayer and little bit of Tulsi Maharani prayer. Okay.
Good.
Okay.
That's nice.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Haraya Namah, Krishna Jadavaya Namah. Hare Hare.
I just want to tell you that this is from this morning in Mayapur. So it's today's party.
Hare Namah, Krishna Jadavaya Namah. Hare Gopal Govind Ram Srimad Bhagavatam. Jaya Radha Madhav, Jaya Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Jaya Radha Madhav. Jayo Panchatata, 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 Jaya Panchatata. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur
সকলে মাথা নিচু করে ভগবানের উদ্দেশ্যে প্রণাম নিবেদন করুন। জয়ং বিষ্ণুপাদ পরমহংস পরিব্রাজকাচার্য অষ্টোত্তর শত শ্রী শ্রীমদ অভয় চরণারবিন্দ ভক্তিবেদান্ত স্বামী শিল প্রভুপাদ কি। ইস্কন বিবিটি ফাউন্ডার আচার্য শিল প্রভুপাদ কি। জয়ং বিষ্ণুপাদ পরমহংস পরিব্রাজকাচার্য অষ্টোত্তর শত শ্রী শ্রীমদ ভক্তি সিদ্ধান্ত সরস্বতী ঠাকুর শিল প্রভুপাদ কি। ব্রহ্ম মধ্য গৌরীয় বৈষ্ণব সম্প্রদায়ের আচার্য বৃন্দ কি। অনন্ত কোটি বৈষ্ণব বৃন্দ কি। নামাচার্য শিল হরিদাস ঠাকুর কি। প্রেম সে কहो শ্রী কৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ শ্রী অদ্বৈত গদাধর শিবাসাদি গৌর ভক্ত বৃন্দ কি। শ্রী শ্রী রাধা কৃষ্ণ গোপ গোপী শ্যাম কুণ্ড রাধা কুণ্ড গিরিরাজ গোবর্ধন কি। শ্রী শ্রী বৃন্দাবন মথুরা ধাম কি। শ্রী শ্রী জগন্নাথপুরী ধাম কি। শ্রী শ্রী নবদ্বীপ মায়াপুর ধাম কি। শ্রী শ্রী রাধা মাধব সখীবৃন্দ শ্রীমন মহাপ্রভু কি। শ্রী শ্রী জগন্নাথ বলদেব সুভদ্রা মহারানী কি। শ্রী শ্রী প্রহ্লাদ নৃসিংহদেব কি। শ্রী শ্রী পঞ্চতত্ত্ব কি। গঙ্গা যমুনা মাইয়া কি। শ্রীমতী তুলসী মহারানী কি। হরিনাম সংকীর্তন के समवेत भक्त वृंद के जय निताय गौर शीतनाथ प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gaurango. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय नृसिंहदेव भगवान की। भक्तराज प्रहलाद महाराज की। नमस्ते नरसिंहाय। नमस्ते नरसिंहाय। प्रहलाद लाद दायिने। हिरण्यकशिपुर्वक्षः। शिलटङ्क नखालये। शिलटङ्क नखालये। इतो नृसिंह परतो नृसिंह। इतो नृसिंह परतो नृसिंह। इतो नृसिंह परतो नृसिंह। इतो नृसिंह परतो नृसिंह। ततो निसिंहा यतो यतो यामि ततो निसिंहा बहिर्निसिंहा हृदये 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 निसिंहा नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव करकमलवरेणाथम् अद्भुतशृङ्गाम् दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गाम् केशवधृता हर हरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे करकमलवरेणाथम् अद्भुतशृङ्गाम् दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गाम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जय केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जय Nrsimhadev, Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. जय नृसिंहदेव भगवान की, भक्तराज प्रहलाद महाराज की।
হরে কৃষ্ণ। সমস্ত মাতাজিদের জন্য ঘোষণা, আপনার জন্য পৃথক তুলসী আরতির ব্যবস্থা করা হয়েছে পঞ্চতত্ত্ব মন্দিরে, সুতরাং সমস্ত মহিলারা পঞ্চতত্ত্ব মন্দিরে চলে যাবেন। বৃন্দাই তুলসী দেব্যই প্রিয়াই কেশবস্য চ বিষ্ণু ভক্তি প্রদে দেবী সত্যবত্যৈ নমো নমঃ। বৃন্দাই তুলসী দেব্যই প্রিয়াই কেশবস্য চ বিষ্ণু ভক্তি প্রদে দেবী সত্যবত্যৈ নমো নমঃ। বৃন্দাই তুলসী দেব্যই প্রিয়াই কেশবস্য চ বিষ্ণু ভক্তি প্রদে দেবী সত্যবত্যৈ নমো নমঃ। श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, जय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
All right. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Everybody, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Good to see you all, and we'll see you next
Happy
week.
New Year.
With our study. We're going slow. We only got 2 paragraphs done, but we'll try next week to do a little more. And we appreciate the association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And the Aarti we saw was from Mangala Aarti this morning, right? In Srimad. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Gajendra. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.